This is Murderous Minors, Killer Kids, bringing you the frightening and truly insane tales of children with the thirst to kill. Kindergarten through 12th grade murderers. True stories thoroughly researched. Join us weekly for new tales of parents' worst nightmares on Murderous Minors, Killer Kids. Episode number 10, The Center Line. Welcome back to another episode of Murderous Minors, Killer Kids, brought to you by the State of Logic podcast. As always, thanks for listening. Highway 93, which runs through Kalispell, Montana, is notorious for its history of being unsafe. Add in factors such as the elements, darkness, construction, lane restrictions on an overpass, then add in a novice driver, and the potential for unexpected catastrophe exponentially increases. On the evening of March 19, 2009, Erin Thompson, 35, dropped off her husband Jason to pick up his vehicle at the shop before they closed for the evening. The elementary school counselor then headed home to wait for his wife of 3 years and his 13-year-old stepson Caden Odell to arrive. Erin, a hairdresser whose goal was to spread love wherever she could, was 4 months pregnant with she and Jason's first baby. She had gone on ahead with Caden to see him play drums in a special concert he had been chosen to perform in at Kalispell Middle School, the first of his performances that Jason wasn't present for. After 8 p.m., Jason began to wonder why his family had yet to return to their Columbia Falls home. He couldn't reach them by phone, so he started to call around to see if he could locate them. Around this same time, another family in the area also begins to wonder where their loved one was. 16-year-old Justine Winter, a Glacier High School student, had missed her 8 p.m. curfew and wasn't reachable by phone either. Father Randy Winter, a National Guardsman and volunteer Evergreen, Montana firefighter, headed out in search of his daughter, thinking that she may have gone off the road somewhere between her boyfriend's house and home. As he approached Highway 93, he saw exactly what he didn't want to: emergency vehicles and lights near the overpass. 16-year-old Justine's Pontiac Grand Am had seemingly crossed the center line, hitting Erin and Caden's Subaru SUV head-on, propelling it backward, its rear coming to rest upon a concrete barrier. Loving, spirited Erin Thompson died at the scene, along with she and Jason's unborn child. Talented, spunky 13-year-old Caden Odell too died at the scene of this crash that robbed the world of 3 much-loved members of a close-knit family. 16-year-old Justine Winter was airlifted to a trauma center in Seattle, Washington, as her father watched in agony and with her mother Mary by her side. With 2 broken legs, a broken neck, a traumatic brain injury, along with a multitude of internal injuries, Justine was placed in a medical-induced coma, spending 6 weeks in ICU. Married since the summer of 2006, Jason Thompson was finally able to feel as though his life was complete. His seemingly endless search for the one who completed his soul was done. Caden made the union picture perfect, filling it with even more love. Thompson was so overjoyed that he remembers thanking his lucky stars every morning for his good fortune and perfect timing. The very night of the catastrophic collision, initial investigators were clearly able to ascertain that it was Justine Winter's Grand Am that left her lane and traveled across the highway and straight into Erin and Caden's SUV, leaving no tire or brake marks in her wake. What they really wanted to know, however, was why did this happen? Justine's parents and older brother Kyle waited a few days following her reemergence into the conscious world to begin to explain the awful circumstances surrounding March 19th. Her mother, Mary, described her daughter's horror and devastation upon hearing the news that 3 precious lives were so violently ripped from existence. Gone with them, the reality of any chance for Erin's sister Amber to move back to the area, to be her next-door neighbor, raising their families up side by side as they had always planned. The facts that came to light during the investigation were nothing short of shocking. What investigators unearthed left them dumbfounded and heartbroken. Recent explosive text messages exchanged between Justine and her boyfriend of about 3 months, Ryan Langford. The events of the evening of March 19, 2009 occurred like this, per police interviews and court testimony. Justine and her boyfriend Ryan were hanging out at her house when Ryan saw some entries in her journal. Although these entries were made before the pair began seeing each other, they were about his best friend, whom Justine had dated in the past. After arguing throughout the evening, Justine drives Ryan home around 7 p.m. so that she can be back home in time for her 8 p.m. curfew, which she never missed. As an almost straight-A sophomore, her parents said she never gave them a reason to worry or punish her. Prom was 2 days away, according to Justine's later memory, but that night, their relationship and upcoming rite of teenage passage both seemed precariously in jeopardy. Justine dropped Ryan off and headed home. Montana Highway Patrol officers would uncover quickly during their investigation that a frenzied barrage of back-and-forth texts would take place for about the next 30 minutes. As Ryan sat at home and Justine drove herself back to her own house, a heated argument took place over text, including messages from Justine which threatened immediate suicide. This girl, whom her older brother Kyle described as always smiley and helpful by nature, was now barreling down Highway 93, telling Ryan she may as well kill herself if he doesn't want to date her anymore. Let me tell you guys precisely what was said in their own words. Goodbye, Ryan. Just live your life knowing that you did change me. Just know that I am telling the truth when I tell you I love you. My last words, I love you, Ryan. Yeah, whatever. You say that. You win, I lose. That's what it all comes down to. If I won, I would have you and I wouldn't crash my car. I can't change what happens in my life, but I will do all I can to make a difference because it's ending, Ryan. Goodbye. You kill yourself, I kill myself. You better not, Ryan says. Then you better not. Tell me you will be with me because you want to. Tell me you want to be with me. That's the only thing I want to live for. You, Ryan, you keep me living. At 8:12 p.m., Justine texted Ryan's sister telling her to keep an eye on your brother for me. Make sure he's safe. To which his sister replies, Okay, he's in his room. You're scaring me. Ryan then texts, You hurt yourself and I'll do the same. That's why I'm going to wreck my car. Because I'm a terrible person. I thought I could fix it, but I couldn't. It shows me I'd rather kill myself. Goodbye, Ryan. He asks why she kicked him out of her car at his house, and she responds that it was because I wanted to kill myself, because I wanted you out of my car so I could do what you told me I couldn't. Ryan says, You killing yourself is just another way of you running away. That's why I'm going to wreck my car, replies Justine, because I thought I could fix it, but I couldn't. It shows me I'd rather kill myself. Goodbye, Ryan. Once Patrol Sergeant Ernie Freeberry spoke to Ryan and read his text, he was confident that what had, at first quick glance, looked like a tragic, unfortunate accident was more realistically a failed suicide attempt. Justine had made it perfectly clear of her exact intentions, then followed through on her literal threat. Furthermore, after-crash inspection of the Grand Dam revealed more damning evidence against Justine. The vehicle's data recorder itself contained a wealth of information. First off, the vehicle accelerated from 81 to 85 miles per hour in the 5 seconds preceding the collision, with evidence of braking only apparent 1 second prior to the deadly and explosive impact. During that 5 seconds, Justine had the gas pedal floored, full throttle. Retrieved data also indicated that, prior to the collision, Justine removed her once-fastened seatbelt as she careened down Highway 93. It was dark. She was approaching 80-mile-per-hour speeds as she neared the construction area by the overpass, all the while texting emotionally and worrying that her relationship was ending. The speedometer face even registers an orange mark visible at about the 85-mile-per-hour tick line. In the law enforcement world, is often referred to as a slap mark, created by the transfer of paint from the speedometer needle onto the face, generally the result of a high-speed collision. Provided with this information, District Attorney Ed Corrigan was not at all happy at the thought of a car accident morphing into multiple murder charges against a child. However, Corrigan felt he had no choice but to charge 16-year-old Justine Winter as an adult. He felt that the obliteration of almost an entire family at once was not an act of juvenile delinquency, but a felonious criminal act which needed to be prosecuted as such. As we've heard in previous episodes, juvenile sentences often bring with them the expunging of criminal records once adulthood is reached. DA Corrigan felt that these acts of negligent homicide needed to stay on her adult record for life. It would take about 7 months until Justine Winter was charged formally with 2 counts of negligent homicide, Montana's equivalent to murder. She was to be tried as an adult. However, unlike most adults, she would be allowed to be remanded to her parents' custody on house arrest with ankle monitoring. This is likely due to the fact that she was rehabbing injuries like 2 broken legs along with a broken neck, medical necessities unlikely to be addressed in jail. She returned to school with a neck brace and ankle monitor to await trial in the fall of 2009. Months would pass as prosecutors prepared for the trial of Justine Winter, when in the autumn of 2010, an inconceivable turn of events. Jason Thompson, Erin's widower, was served with documents naming him in a civil lawsuit. The Winter family was suing Erin's estate for Justine's pain and suffering, claiming it was Erin who caused the accident and therefore Justine's injuries. Under the support of Randy Winter, the civil suit seeks monetary damages for any medical expenses, including those occurring later in her life, along with compensation for the loss of earning potential and future income. Damages were also sought for Justine's permanent injuries that led to the loss of her ability to fully enjoy her life. The suit also named Knife River Corporation, Western Traffic Control Incorporated, and Mountain West Holding Company, corporations responsible for maintaining the highway and construction zone, sued as negligent for improperly maintaining the roadway and failing to keep it safe for travelers. DA Corrigan speculated that the suit likely represented the beginning of a strategic defense tactic placing blame on Erin at trial. When the time comes to seat an impartial jury, Justine's attorneys, Maxwell Battle and David Stuft, filed a motion to change venues, citing over 140 negative comments made online regarding articles published about the case. As to be expected, the majority of these comments were left after news broke of the civil lawsuit, which seemed to put a deep divide within the community. Hello, lovely listeners. I know that you guys, like War Baby, enjoy a wide variety of thought-provoking, inventive podcasts. So if you aren't listening to The State of Logic, what's your excuse?
The State of Logic podcast is like no other. We don't have the same focus as so many other podcasts where we're just me talking about business or politics or whatever. We talk about everything with everyone, intellectuals, comedians, and celebrities alike. Sometimes it's a 20-minute interview. Sometimes it's a 3-hour interview. But at the end of the day, it's a great conversation that we often laugh about and learn something from at the same time. Come check us out at the State of Logic podcast.
Battle and Stuffed went so far as to subpoena the local news agency, gaining usernames, email addresses, and IP addresses attributed to the negative online commenters in an effort